wherever you are, drop the definition of what consistency means to you. How has being consistent changed your life or enhanced your life if you've already been consistent? Your answer does matter. It's definitely going to inspire me and inspire other people in the group. We're talking about consistency, striving to be more consistent. All right, so I like that. Anybody else? Tell us about consistency, what it means to you. All right. Were you always consistent? Are you more consistent now than you have ever been? We want to know. Oh, Jason said, it's hard work to fight against myself. For many of us, it has been a total learning experience on this journey. And I think that's why I really put on Ask a Piano Teacher, because even though I'm a piano teacher, there are people who will jump on who have nothing to do with music, but we will recognize that our journey, it requires the same principles, no matter if we're doing music, no matter if we're doing science, no matter if we're doing spoken word or poetry or being an activist or whatever your calling is, it's going to require the same principle. All right. So there are 5 things that I want to share about the road to consistency. And I think that Jason might have touched on it, and even Natasha touched on it. Feel free, keep sharing your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say. It is really important. And like I said, you can definitely inspire people in the comment section. Not wanting to be consistent at times is a normal feeling. You know, like for parents, you might hear your child say, I don't feel like practicing. Or maybe even you as an adult, you in your mind, you're just like, I don't feel like doing it. But realizing that that is the point where being consistent becomes a choice. Okay. And it's a daily fight to be consistent until we have developed the art of being consistent. The second thing, consistency doesn't mean that you are going to do the same thing in the same way every single day. So sometimes we feel like, oh, my schedule needs to be the same every single day. And that's not really true. It's just your goal needs to be the same every day. And then you have to learn to be flexible. So the next thing is celebrate when your good days outweigh your bad days. We're not going to get it right all the time. So we want to learn to just celebrate that and always positive talk ourselves, not be negative towards ourselves, but to be positive because our good days are outweighing our bad days. And that's how consistency grows. When your consistency is disrupted by someone else's inconsistency, keep moving forward. Do not stop. Do not entertain the fact that someone else who is connected to your vision, your dream, is not being consistent. You got to keep moving forward. You know, God has given us the tools that it takes to get it done. He said that he's going to provide our daily bread. So if the person that is aligned with your vision and your dream is not being consistent, keep moving forward. Like Jonathan McReynolds said, I'm moving on, right? Keep moving forward. And either they'll fall away or they will catch up with you at another point. 5, true consistency is who you are, not just the areas of your life where you're able to apply it. Okay. Those are the 5 things that I've learned that needs to accompany consistency. Like, we are not born being consistent. We need to understand a few things in order to be consistent. All right. EJ says it's a matter of perspective and making the proper comparisons. All right, EJ, what are we comparing? What are we not comparing? So if you could help us with that, we're about to bring Micaheal Bent on. Keep dropping your thoughts in the comment section. Again, your thoughts matter. Okay. And we want to hear what you have to say. We want to be inspired by you. So keep dropping your thoughts. All right. So EJ, I'm going to be looking out for that. All right. So we're going to bring on Micaheal Bent. Let's do that right now. All right. Micaheal Bent, are you in the house? Literally.
Hey, Bev.
What's going on? Let's drop some hearts for Micaheal Bent. Him being here, him showing up. This is week number 5, and we have Micaheal Bent in the house. Drop some love, drop some hearts, like this video, share this post, because we about to get into his story.
I'm excited. It's good to see you looking all shining.
Listen, it's having the right light shining on you. All right. So now, Michael, listen. We've sat down and talked a little bit sometimes, you know, or whatever. But this is the first time that you are going to share your journey. I just want to let you know that, like I said before, I'm watching you, okay? I see your journey. I see what you're doing. I see your practice. I see your growth. You globetrotting, bro. Tell us where you have been in the past year. Okay, where have you been in the past year?
Wow, in the past year. So I was a part of this orchestra choir group called the Symphony Chorus. The choir and orchestra and in the middle, NYC, New York City. So in last summer in July, we did a tour in England. And I was there for 2 weeks. We did concerts in, where was it? London, Sheffield, and Cambridge. 3 different churches and 3 different personalities that were amazing. I think our conductor, he conducted 2 groups, one in Canada and one in here in New York. And we all came together, did 3 concerts out there. I went to Paris for fun, got to see the Eiffel Tower. It was amazing.
Did you bring the cello?
Yeah, I had my cello, yes. Yes.
Wow.
I wouldn't leave home without it.
Listen, I hear that and I respect it. Can you also tell us what it's like? Because I look at a lot of your pictures and there are so many different cultures represented. What is it like for a Black man with a cello to be touring?
When I go to see certain cultures, they don't usually see Black people play these kind of instruments, though they just think it's only for classically trained artists as far as Caucasian or Asian people are considered. But seeing a Black man or a Black woman playing a string instrument, it really makes a difference to me. It shows that we can be consistent, we can be diligent in our craft, and we just have to make it happen, put that practice time in.
Right. And I think that those are one of the misconceptions. You know, just in talking to people, I'm realizing that there are a lot of misconceptions that drive us as, you know, people in a certain direction. We are all created equal. We are all created with equal opportunities. We are all created by an equally loving and endowing God who gives us all. I'm glad that you are out there representing a Black man who is being consistent, doing what might not be, you know, considered something for him to do, but it is, you know, like, this is your choice. This is your blessing. This is what God has given you. And it's sad, but we are thankful that you are breaking the mold and the stereotype out there. All right. So listen, you are a teacher as well.
Yes.
How do you like being a teacher?
Oh, it's enjoyable. These kids will keep you energized, let me tell you. And I feel like the most rewarding thing to me about being a teacher so far, I'm teaching a summer camp for this week. And just yesterday, one of my older students, he's about, I think he's 12. And he told me after the end of our lesson, "Wow, Mr. Bent, thank you so much for helping me. I hope someday I can play just like you." And you know what? Wow. My heart melted because I feel like I need to get better myself. And when he said that to me, I'm like, really? I didn't say this to him, but I want you to play better than me, you know? I want my students to play better than I. And yeah, that comes with being consistent.
Got you. Going through this season, like this is a whole entire season. This season is a whole vibe. The vibe is consistency. Keep going, don't stop. That's the vibe, right? How has the coronavirus, just the outbreaks of injustice, well, the obvious outbreaks, because it's always been there, and challenge of injustice, how has that really tried to shake your consistency as a teacher or as a person in any kind of way? Let's talk about that.
That has created an issue, but I mean, look at us now. We're using technology and we find new ways to be creative and innovative. So, I mean, some people can look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it's just about, you know, when you think about how full is the glass, is it half full or is it half empty? You know, you make do with what you have. And this, I mean, yes, we are in this pandemic, but we have to make use of it. I've been having online lessons since this whole thing started. We just have to transition. And Most recently, I just finished my first year as a Suzuki teacher trainer. I have 2 years, so all of my lessons have been online. And we train these kids from
Okay.
2 going up, learning music. Whether it's ear training, theory, they start young. So, COVID, no COVID, we're still working. We got to do it. I was working on a certain phrase with one of my students today, and he said it takes him a little while to get it. It's not easy the first time. So this is what I tell him. We have 4 notes in the bow, right?
Mhm.
These are 4 notes. And he couldn't get them all in one bow. So this is what I told him. I told him separate them. Right? Then add 2 in a bow. All right, he got that. Then add 3 in a bow. All right, he did that a few times. Then I said, now try it the first way, 4 in a bow. And you know what? He got it. And
Wow.
that is how I demonstrate consistency. Breaking it apart. It won't happen in one day, but little by little, adding each part that comes after to when you first started, it gets better.
Awesome. Wow, that was amazing. I was actually enjoying, like, okay, that's the whole piece right there. All right, so my next question to you is, were you always consistent?
Oh no. No.
Can you share with us the secrets um about not being consistent? Like,
Right.
because we were
So
probably real good at it. I think that anybody who's inconsistent is probably real good at it.
it has to be developed, especially at a young age. I'm teaching my niece cello, and she's saying, "Oh, Uncle Michael, it's hard," but
Mhm.
you have to practice daily. So growing up, I actually started with piano, and I didn't like it,
Mhm.
and I believe it was because I wasn't consistent. I didn't like to practice. I played at concerts and did some, recitals, but I wasn't really feeling it. I enjoyed, I enjoyed being there and performing, but playing the piano just wasn't in my heart. So my mom took me to a music store, and I saw the cello. She actually told me, pick an instrument that you love to practice. And I saw the cello, and I heard the sound. And after that, I loved it. She signed me up some lessons, some private lessons, and then I just continued all the way through high school, college, and now I'm in a professional program, becoming a Suzuki teacher trainer. Um, the road wasn't easy, but I found the instrument that I loved,
Mhm.
and I kept at it. I kept being consistent because I loved the way it sounds, and I'm always working on my sound. It doesn't come every day, but daily practice, it gets done.
Right. And I think that there is a big misconception out there with levels that it takes to get to a specific level of success, right? So you'll have people who really get it quick and they pop out the womb and they are a sensation,
Natural.
natural. Then you'll have people who need to work at becoming, I really like what EJ said about comparison and really being in the mode of saying my only comparison is who I was yesterday compared to who I am today. I need to be making sure that I am better today than I was yesterday. And I think with that, we can really stay focused on our goal because we could really lose sight of our calling because
Mm,
we are comparing ourselves to someone's newsreel
right.
or Facebook post. And we don't realize all of the work that maybe they had to put in or all of the work that we need to put in order to reach there. And I think that sometimes when we realize that, then we'll stop comparing ourselves because God might have it in our spirits to be further than the place where we're looking at someone who is further than us.
Mm,
So even in comparison, if they're further than us, we're going to stop there if we're comparing ourselves to them instead of extending the whole length of the ladder and letting nothing hinder us. Where who knows where that can lead us, but consistency is definitely the key. All right, Mike, so tell us a little bit about your journey as a cellist, your personal journey as a cellist, the moments where you might have cried, the moments where you celebrated yourself, the moments where you didn't think that you were going to make it any further, the moments when someone might have told you. Tell us about the journey in a nutshell, as short as you could get that, but we want all of it. Take us on that journey. Okay.
I got you right now. Wow. You just took me back maybe just like within the last few years, because last year I graduated from Nyack College and I was a cello performance major. Mm-hmm. And every Monday I remember being in my master class and we would have to have our pieces ready to perform. And my teacher for a master class, she was a pianist. And I remember this one lesson I performed and it wasn't good. She just told me leave and go practice. And she did that in front of everyone.
Wow.
Yeah. So I spent that time practicing because I didn't want that to happen again. And you know what? I felt like I redeemed myself in my senior recital. And she saw it. And she commented and she said, "That's the best I've ever heard you play." And you know what? That made me feel like I accomplished a lot, because that was 4 years. Mm-hmm. 4 years of practicing, sleepless nights. I mean, Jason Thomas can tell you.
Right.
All them hours at Manhattan School of Music. It wasn't easy. But every night, whether it be 2, 3, 4 hours a night into the AM hours, constant practice, consistency. And now I'm, by God's grace, planning a trip to Thailand to teach for a year.
Wow.
God is amazing.
He is. That story is amazing. I mean, if someone could take you to the point where you shed a tear, and it says that in our trials, we gain perseverance. So sometimes when we're like, oh, I don't want to go through that, I wish I didn't have to go through that. Going through those hardest times was probably the thing that gave us the perseverance and the consistency that we do have now, and continues to let us level up, because we know where we want to be and we know where we're coming from. And I think that in itself is a great success story. EJ says consistency is what is done behind the scenes. In public, everyone praises you for your final result. And I think that's what your teacher was doing. She was definitely praising you for the final result. But the real thing was your consistency. That's the real thing to be celebrated.
Oh, yeah. That was it. That was it. Hands down, that was it.
Hands down.
That was it.
Because the question is asked, well, what if she didn't celebrate you? What if she still thought you weren't good enough for her or to make the cut? You would not, your celebration would not come with her. It would come by the mere fact that you kept a word to yourself. And I think that consistency is really a byproduct. It's a byproduct of us keeping a word to ourselves. It's a byproduct of all of the hard work that we put in. It's a byproduct of realizing that you are going to face trials and hurdles and all of that, and you just have to stick to it. And I think for most of us growing up, we are sold that pie in the sky, prince dream story. And we don't realize that you're probably going to go through more challenges in order to get to where you need to be, and have to jump over more hurdles in order to experience the success. And sometimes success, which is something that I'm really contemplating within my mind, that sometimes success in itself may not come in the package of popularity.
Right.
Or of being on a main stage. But that daily work that you put in, when you know where you're coming from and you see yourself from yesterday and you know that you have grown, whether the world recognizes it or not, that's the moment that you celebrate. That's really the moment that you celebrate. I mean, you can enjoy moments where people notice, but there's something that about what you know that people cannot take away from you. And there's Fredrick Douglas. You have no confidence in self. You are twice defeated in the race of life. Wow. 2 times defeated? How could you be 2 times defeated? But you have defeated yourself one of the times.
Inside.
Right. So when we take the time to believe in ourselves, we are winners because we don't need someone else causing us to be defeated. We only need one person to believe in us, and that's us. So, wow, Perline said, I love the quote. Yes, that quote is so dope. EJ says, consistency requires hard work, and hard work with a little talent will beat no work with a lot of talent any day of the week. Wow. And it's true. EJ says, if there is even the slightest chance of success, consistency will get you there.
It's that daily thing.
Yo, just give me one crack in the door.
It's that daily work. It's that, man, I don't want to get up and do it, but I got to do it.
Right. And our motives for why we do it is what keeps us consistent.
Wow.
You really have to know why you're doing what you're doing. Perline said, being consistent is a struggle for me. And I received that. And I thank you for bringing that, because guess what, Perline? It's a struggle for me. Mike, let's take a poll. What about you?
Yes, it is a struggle. Especially when you want to get up early in the morning to practice. Oh gosh, or stay up late at night past midnight. It's a struggle. But what do you want? What end result do you want?
Right.
You want that gold tried in the fire, and the fire is those midnight late hours or those early mornings before the sun rises.
Or how about when you have practiced, right? But you still bomb. And I'm not talking about the bomb. I'm talking about like really bomb. Like all that work that you put in, you don't want to do it anymore. You want to really give up. You know, you want to really just not do it anymore. And I love that Perline brought that up, because that is the humanity side of us that we really have to confront, but embrace as well and give grace. Because the misconception out there that I kind of sold into was that you're going to want to be consistent. And for years, I'm like, well, something wrong with me, because I don't want to be consistent. So it must be me. And the more that you talk to people and connect with people and connect with people who are on a higher level, or who have leveled up, or have a more open way of thinking, or they have been enlightened, you realize that that is just part of the process. You know?
Yeah, it's a daily development.
It is. And Perline, just to speak to that, the guy who did the light bulb, right?
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, man. They interviewed him and they said, listen, Benjamin, you know, what is it, you know, about the failures? And he was like, oh, those weren't failures. That's the amount of time that it took me to get to where I made the light bulb.
You better preach.
Come on now, I'm not a preacher either. All right, Perline says, I think my struggle with being consistent, I overthink too much. Mike, can you tell us about overthinking?
That's when simplicity comes in. It's like my student that I had today, you know, with the 4 notes in a bow. He wants to try to get everything in one bow, but you gotta break it down.
Yo!
I know there's a lot of notes on that paper, but you gotta take it little, measure by measure, group by group, note by note. Where are you getting to?
Why are we speeding? Why are we moving so? Yo, Perline, that's it right there. And that joint hit me too, Mike, because it's just like, I want to be this today.
Right.
And it's just like, yo, Give it time. We got time. Mike, that was a word. You was preaching. Because we are made perfect, you know, daily, by trying and by doing, we get to that place. So I like that, Perline. By doing better, we become perfected. People said starts with the fundamental foundation and slowly building from there. Just like Mike said, what's my baseline? What is my goal? Short-term goals to get to the long-term goals. You don't have to start at a long-term goal. You start at the short-term goal. And you say, how do these short-term goals work together in order to get me to the long-term goal? Perline said action steps, and that's what we need to do. Break it down into action steps.
That's it.
All right? That's real talk right there. And we need to begin to apply these principles. Listen, I'm a piano teacher, and all I can do is care. And it's talking to people like you, Micaheal Bent, and to Jason, and having people like Perline and Natasha and EJ, and people dropping comments in the comment section that takes that caring to the next level. Because we could care all we want, but we need information in order to affect change in people's lives. And we hope that anybody who is watching right now or who is watching the rebroadcast of this show could just really rethink their lives, because that's what we all do. Because even if we are consistent, guess what? We're trying to think about the next step of consistency, because it's still a daily walk. So even though we got up to this far and we have accomplished, eyes have not seen, ears haven't heard, nor have it entered into the heart of man, the things that God has prepared for those who love him in the world to come, for those who do believe in it, and even right now. Even right now. So, Michael, listen, we are over time, and I took this time to really indulge because I was enjoying this conversation.
Oh, yes.
Everybody was enjoying this conversation, and I'm going to learn to play the cello as well, even more. And I really appreciate it, and I definitely want to pour into your business and into your school by hiring you as my teacher. Support Michael's business. Micaheal Bent, how do they reach you?
You can check me out, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook, just type Micaheal Bent. My Instagram is _Blazer Mike. I'm on Snapchat, Micaheal Bent. YouTube, Micaheal Bent Cello. You can see me teaching my niece.
Oh, that's dope. That's really dope. Michael, thank you for sharing this afternoon with me. I really want you to play something. Not one of your long concertos, no shade, but just play something really, really short and beautiful for us.
This is one of my favorite pieces. It's the Prelude by J.S. Bach in G major.
Come through, Mike. Come through. Black business. That's right. Natasha says, awesome. Listen, Mike, you are an inspiration. I appreciate artistry. I appreciate musicianship, but most of all, I appreciate the hard work that goes into any artist who's going to work hard. And it motivates me to say, listen, get even more on your grind, Beverly, because when you think you are doing your best, you better level up, because there's always more to go. In closing, I would just like to say that success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistency, which is hard work, that leads to greatness. Thank you, everybody who has been a part of this discussion.